my sister, the oldest sister, Rose, came down from up north, Chate, to visit me. We're gonna kind of talk about a little bit of the history of beadwork, but she knows a little bit, and then kind of just go from there, like how we bead, do a lot of the beadwork and stuff like that. So, hey, oh, Jessica, you can't see. So here we are. Just you take use the birch bark here, like the smooth part.
You take it off first, you cut it.
Yeah,
the
you
whole
kind of
thing.
take that out, and then say you draw a pattern flower on it, cut it out so you could use it for tracing on strout to do
Or
beadwork,
moose hide.
or even moose hide, and either one. So that's one way of doing. And if
They make basket with those birch
yeah, they use
bark need too.
yeah, they make birch basket. There's a certain type of berries.
It's either berries or plant. I think it's plant.
Yeah,
Red alien.
real deep red. I know.
They use it for print color.
Yeah,
It's red. alien.
because in those days they didn't have any,
No ink, nothing.
so they kind of use that special type of flower. I don't think it's a berry, kind of a really deep red, and they use really
They squish it up and it gets watery. They use that for ink.
yeah to
Make
draw
pattern.
draw patterns and stuff. And she told me they use moose bone, the real thin moose bone, to for like a pencil or something to dip the
Or even make a stick out of sharp
stick, yeah, to make pattern. Beadwork, Joy, it's kind of a comforting, huh? Like then if the men go out hunting, go tracking it at night too. It's winter days are shorter, so a lot of women do a lot of beadwork at night. We use really kerosene lamp. They use that because it was in the log house. We didn't have any
candles.
candles. Yeah, they use candles. We didn't have any electricity, so we had to use those kerosene lamp to.
Bear grease. They use bear grease too. They whip it in rags. And they use that for light.
It's more
But people were really poor then. There was no candles, nothing then.
yeah, and a lot of women, they do a lot of clothing from moose hide, and they do beadwork. There wasn't much beads had, only had any
What the Hudson Bay brings in.
yeah, whatever. There's a small Hudson Bay store, but the store carry pretty much every little bit of things that native people then they need. Nice visit with my sister, and we kind of chat about a little bit of background of beadwork. And what I do is it kind of I continue it. I live in the city, and I can continue doing a lot of beadwork and crafts. I kept it up, so now it's my turn to start teaching other young generation, like our grandkids, our granddaughters and stuff, to teach them how to do beadwork, and hopefully they will continue it for many years if they know how to what I taught them, and keep it up like I did with Ines teaching and everything. I do tanning and crafts, like do my own hide. And best part for me is beadwork. I really enjoy doing beadwork. It's so beautiful. And I do it so I was taught with pattern, but I do it without a pattern. I kind of just freelance, I call it, without any design. I just kind of start on the center and kind of go from there and create my own design and what to put and be creative. And I find that so much, how could I say, fulfillment. You create something and it's so nice to see that you could do that, be creative. And that's how I teach it. So hopefully that is good for the future generation when I teach them how to do beadwork. When you're doing beadwork, don't spend too much time choosing colors. Just attack your beadwork with, be bold with colors. Don't say, don't think this color won't go eat well. Regardless what, I have that lots of time. This color I choose won't work, and once you start working and putting different colors, it's a good outlook for design. Okay, I'm gonna do a bit of beadwork today, the way I do it. Most people do beadwork with patterns. They draw patterns like this and they cut it out and they kind of trace it or do pattern on their stroke material. But I do mine a little bit different. So this is going to be mittens. So what I do is I cut out my material and kind of fold it in and sew it so it's not in my way. And I use this, I think it's called facing, I'm not sure, I buy it at Fabric Land. And I use that for the back for just a little bit support. If the material is a little thin, it's better to use something for backing. And you just kind of cut it out and sew it on, just rough stitches. And this is my left hand mitten. So what I do is I use a fabric that's very dense and it's very nice to bead on it. I fold it. Make sure just fold your whatever you want to sew, and then kind of fold it in. Maybe 3/4 here is the base of my palm, so I just fold it in. And what I do is I use kind of a chalk pencil and I mark it right here where I fold it. So this will be my center of a flower. And since I don't draw, I will start here. Like I'm gonna use, you could count, the best way is I count my beads all the time. You can't go around about that. So I'm gonna make sure, I figure like here is my circle for the center. So I'm gonna start right here. You kind of just use your judgment. If you want a small center, then go. I use 28 to 30 beads. I use size 10 bead. That's what I use all the time because it works for me. So whatever beads it works for you, just do that. And so there I go. And I use bead on needles. I always double the thread for beading. It's a special thread, I guess. It's made for beadwork. You could buy any store, like it says for beading. So I'm going to start with 28 number 10 bead, so you just pick up 28. Yeah. So what I do is you hold it and hold it to make a circle. See, perfect circle. And you take the first bead that you put on and work your thread through it. And then make sure you take the size of the bead and pull it through. Then you'll even it out like there. So I just put this on the side. I use a cloth to put my beads because they don't run around and stuff. I notice some people use a plate or something. It's unsteady, the beads go over. So it's better to have, I use an old pillowcase. I just fold it and tuck it in on my, and so they don't move around. And I use my other needle, I don't know, just any comfortable needle that you're gonna use for tacking down the thread and the bead. And this is heavy. I normally use my mom's old cast iron. You just tack it on the tip of your material so it doesn't move around, and then work your beads to a circle. If you've got nice big thumb with nice nail, it helps, it holds down. If this break, I usually get a gel nail just for this one, so I got a nice grip on my, and start where you tack it in to hold the circle. Just work on the next bead work in between. You kind of work in between. Make sure you tack it down. I usually go up and then I kind of slam my needle towards that way. So this way the thread don't show. See? And then just control your circle with your thumb. And I control the bead, the thread, beading thread like this. Just comfortably, just grab it and don't tack it too tight. It's better to have it just loose, comfortably loose, so you can control it, and just work every in between the bead like that. Yeah, I notice if you make your beads really tight, it doesn't look good. You want it just so it moves like a cloth, so it's not tight and kind of loose. It just controls. This way anyways, yeah. And you got to go between every bead. Just sometimes you tend to make sure the needle goes right between. This one's a little heavy. I'll use this little guy here. That's heavy too. Yeah, and then just fiddle with your beads so sits okay on this molten cloth. You know, beadwork comes a long ways in generation of our ancestors. My grandmother used to bead. As a little girl, I just sit and watch them. I kind of grew up that way, so I kind of know exactly. You kind of observe what they're doing and kind of sticks with you. They all get together and do beadwork and stuff. It's actually a very comforting, you know, if you're stressed out or depressed or anything like that. It's kind of a therapy. You know, it gives you a good feeling. That's what I find with beadwork. And sometimes you kind of get it's good to check your backing. Sometimes the thread would tackle together and you don't want that either too. So, and then you have to deal with it. I've done that lots of times, but here it gets a little tricky. You kind of loosen your thread a little bit and kind of try to work into a nice circle. Yeah, my mom and they taught me how to bead quite young, but she would let me start with a circle first, and sometimes it was crooked, and she let me undo them, which is, I didn't like that. It was a tedious job, but it was hard on trying to undo the beadwork. So I learned to do it perfection. And you keep doing till where you attach the thread. And sometimes when you look at it, it might look okay, but I usually just go over where I attach it, just so it sits like that. And my thread is getting a little short, so I do a knot. You don't want to do a whole bunch of knots, because you know it gets kind of. So I usually do comfortably 2 knots with this attaching needle, and I cut I don't like a whole bunch of thread. I'm really picky at that, so I make sure the thread is not hanging long, because sometimes when I go like this, it'll get catch and then it'll come out with a needle. So this way I just do it this way, and then you come out again for the second roll, just the length of the bead, like so. And then now I did 28, so I'm probably looking at about 20 or 19 beads for the second one. Okay, I'll try 20. Sometimes it works, sometimes it depends on the size. Some beads are bigger than others. Some are fat, some are skinny. just like us. Okay, see, I did 20, but I think I'll go with, you kind of see for yourself. You got, see, when you're attaching it, sometimes it expands. So you kind of just tack it in kind of loose, and I think 19 would work. So take one out. And pull it through the first beadwork, and then make sure you kind of just tack it in and pull it out. And then I think that will work out. And I gotta get more thread here. Some people just kind of take the tip and roll and pull it out, but I don't know. I just find this is easier for me. I do about 4 or 5 times, it depends. And then pull it out and make sure sometimes I got a nice little knot and I don't like it, it sticks out, and I trim some off. There, that's how I do it. And I use my little holder and start from where you attach, and then just work from this. You know, it's when you choose bead colors and stuff, it's nice just to be bold with your colors. You know, sometimes it doesn't, you think, oh, it doesn't match, but once you kind of do it with other colors, it works good. I've done that before, and it doesn't hurt to mix match your colors. You could use different color instead of yellow, but I'm using black straw, so it's kind of, you want something that stands out. You don't want to use really dark colors on dark cloth. I find this way, not drawing, it's more fun. You become more creative, because then I find when you do drawing and work on that, and you say, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that. I like different pattern or something. This way you kind of just work along, not knowing exactly what you'll come out with, and then you become more creative that way, I find. With drawing too, you got to follow the lines and stuff. So, like with me, I just count my beads, and I haven't come. It comes out pretty good. Well, not every flower is perfect, so even fresh flowers, nothing's perfect. So there, I've done 19 instead of 20, and it's working out just fine. Yeah, you don't want it really tight, because I've seen beadwork that are tight. I find it's not flexible. You might, down the road, you'll either break or kind of. There, perfect. Now, I usually just tuck that one in and I go and start the next round. Same thing, just come out the size of a bead. You have to have good lighting if you're working with dark cloth. So I'm going to go with either 9 or 10 next one. So. I'll go for 10. If I don't need one, I'll take it out. Yeah, so see, I'll go with 9. 9 is perfect. Pull it through and tuck it in. Yeah, it's very peaceful when you do beadwork. You're just kind of lost in your thoughts and stuff like that. It's nice to use small scissors for the tedious stuff. So. And with the center, I think I'll use something a little dark color, kind of shiny. So I'll use this color. There, see, perfect. Masi, I hope you enjoy watching this video and learn how to do beadwork, and all the best to you that want to learn how to do beadwork. Masi.